All right, people, this is going to be part 3 called skills. You can put in parentheses there, to be acquired, that you will acquire. Some of the advanced people might say, that I already have, and, you know, that's great if you do. But do you now? Because I haven't heard this thing, at least as I see it, explained properly once the whole way through. And for some reason, it never is. And just like I mentioned, the first 2 parts, the only reason I'm doing this is because I have seen people literally bring themselves to tears because they cannot comprehend this, or don't comprehend it, cannot comprehend it, what's going on right now. And that's not okay with me. And because, trust me when I say, I know how that feels. Let's get to it. So the skills, when I say skills to be acquired that you will acquire, you're gonna end up being able to do 2 things with this. The 2 major parts of it anyway. You will learn to see things completely differently and in a whole new way. Whether your eyes are wide open or, thank you, Mr. Kubrick, wide shut, right? Phenomenal work he did. Thank you to him personally for unbelievable work that man did. Anyhow, so people, all right. So the easiest way to do this is the tools that I had asked you to get and to make available to you in part 2. And this is part 3, by the way, because this is really, it's not an explain. I was just supposed to kind of piggyback you and get you a little further along so you can see kind of what's going on here. Wherever you go, or if you are watching a video or something, or TV or whatever, and there's somebody talking, look at everything. Everything. Look at any numbers that may be on the screen. If you've got your charts already, Look at symbols that may accompany companies, that may accompany a person or, an individual. But look at everything. Let me give you an example. Once you have familiarized yourself with the tools, wait till you see how much easier that makes things. And you have to couple that, of course, with everything, with what everything means and stuff like that. And then you should be able to put it together as you go. The ladies will know what I'm talking about when I say this. If you have a very beautiful, very pretty, very beautiful, woman in a nightclub or so, and she, is over in the corner, and she's got her, barrage of guys around her, or whatever, and she's the center of attention and all that stuff. But all of a sudden, here comes another beautiful, gorgeous woman, as beautiful as her, and they both are decked out in just the most beautiful dress, let's say, and done up very nicely. And it's not too long before they run into each other and they're formally introduced. Girls, tell me, what are both of them doing the second that they've got a full body view of each other? Now, based on what these girls know and what they do, what is going to be the first thing that they start doing? You better believe it. And they both do it. They will look each other up and down from head to toe. And they know because they do fashion as well when they have to dress up. They're looking at each other's hair, their makeup, how well it's done, the perfume. They're using all five senses. It's full throttle. It's DEFCON 1, man. They are all out right now. And that's what they're doing. Now remember, they're both drop dead gorgeous, so they've kind of met their match. In other words, they're looking at each other up and down. Their shoes, if they're, their jewelry, the earrings, the rings, the bracelets, the necklace, the color of their dress, the all of this stuff. They're looking, people, they've done in about 15, 16, 17 seconds maybe. They've done more investigative work than most people do all day long. Period. And girls, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. That is the same thing that you should be doing wherever you are. And this is kind of horrible, okay? But I mean, it's a habit that, and I take it a lot farther because I mean, I've had to, literally, for safety reasons even, but by the time they've usually done that, I mean, in my world, I mean, I've usually covered as far as, that's what I'm saying. So like if you go like wherever, if you go to if you go here or you're watching TV or something, look at everything, look at the numbers, the symbols. What are they doing? Where is it? And then people, I can't not for the life of me. And this is what I meant by, oh, do you now? When I was to advanced people, I know how to do all that. Well, that's when I was referring to them. I have never heard people make such a big deal, or I'm sorry, minus a big deal about colors are very, very important. They are extremely important. Somebody can come on the scene, and this leads to another subject, which I'll have to get into later because I'm just supposed to be kind of giving you some, I guess, a little ground to stand on so you can kind of participate in what's going on and at least kind of, being ready for it. And looking at, things that nobody usually looks at. But colors is one thing that for some reason just goes right by everybody. And besides, I always say symbols, but shapes as well. Just if you can't remember symbols, shapes as well. The subject that I said I'm going to have to do later, that topic, that subject. Let's say it's, this individual giving a speech that might just happen to be, dressed in a certain colored outfit or something. I'm just saying, it's just, this is just, make believe here, right? And it's a speech after a disaster of some sort. Let's say there's some people that, if it's a staff of some sort, they just want to show their support. So they just happen to be standing, behind the person talking, and keeps, they're stressing something to get this message over, and for some reason they keep using their hands. No, nothing ring any bells. That's another one. I won't get into that. Well, people, they just multi-communicated all over you with those simple things. And heaven above only knows what else was there. All of those things that we were so, and this is the most, just utterly, how someone or some people can conspire to do such a thing. is to hold an individual's education to such a level where they literally take it from them or deny them of it. And you have every single right to that. And they keep it from you so they can hold that advantage over you the rest of your life by multi-communication tactics that they will do the rest of your life for some idiots, list or just unspeakable things to do, or agenda they call it. I'm gonna close this part 3 out with this here. People, there's a reason, and the old saying, if you give someone food or a fish for a day, well, they have food or fish for a day. But if you show them how to do that and how to provide the procedure, the process, the method of which everyone is entitled to, well, then they pretty much know at that point that they'll have fish or food for the rest of their life, don't they? Now, I almost forgot about a big part of this, and that would be your mirror. Oh, yes. You see, it's not just a mirror, a point of view, or even, spelling it out, forgiving the terminology there. To literary morphing. That's right. Literary morphing. The only morphing that is able to be done in the way that it is and has been, causing pretty much all of this. But we'll get to that later. That's a couple of parts away here. But speaking of the mirror, the mirrors, if you say it with a country accent, couple of mirrors. Or, so I guess that makes that mirrors. Does that not sound more like a home mortgage case, if you will? You might just maybe even ask Katy Perry. No, I adore Katy Perry. She's, in my book, I really like her. I admire her work very much. And she's got a beautiful voice, and I adore her. But I think all of us are aware that when you're in that position, you kind of have to, at least within the contract, as they say, to fulfill it, do what is asked of you, so what does this have to do with mirrors? Nothing. But I believe you might just have heard her sing those famous words, "Hear me roar," a time or two. Yeah. And don't get me started, 'cause I haven't gotten to you or me yet. And you can take that and you can slide it down whichever slot you want, because there's at least 3 different ones. Anyhow, back to the mirror. You see, there's one particular gentleman before we close this part out, that I do believe deserves, has more than earned his mention. And I won't mention his name, but I simply call him Star Brother, because he knew what it meant. And there's already something up here on that, so you can find it, but he knew. And like many others, has to walk the fence, but that's such a good art to try to convey what he could. So with that, I just wanted to say, Star Brother, we miss you. And come back soon, because we're waiting for you. And we love you. Everybody take care.